understand what it's about.
Every time I touch the ball, I'm thinking I'm going to score.
This is our chance to write our part of the story.
The wheels, ball, goes, touchdowns!
Like he looks like he wants to take someone's head off.
Oh, picked up! Into the mix! Dante McClellan!
It took 6 weeks, but the Tigers are finally hitting the road to take on the Auburn Tigers. Welcome into the Tiger Kickoff Show. I'm Jacob Siciliano. Joining me, as always, our wonderful Columbia, Missouri beat reporters, Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase Jeems. Guys, first road trip for Missouri this season. What are our immediate thoughts about Auburn?
I think they have really been two different stories on either side of the ball. Their defense has been excellent. They're very similar to Mizzou in that their front seven's really good. They're elite at stopping the run, and they're elite at stopping third downs. The main issue has been their offense. It is a chore to watch them move the ball down the field, and when adversity has hit them, like it has the past couple of weeks, they have tended to crumble instead of rising up.
Yeah, this is a weird game. You talked about it in your open. Missouri, it's been 7 weeks of college football and hasn't gone on the road yet, so it's going to be their first road test. It'll be at night, under the lights at Jordan-Hare Stadium, 88,000 people raining down on Missouri for their first road game. We saw how it went last year. I just have this written down. It's going to be a weird game. It's just going to be weird. Missouri and Auburn, the last 2 times they've played, it's been weird. I don't expect anything we expect to happen this week, so we can break it all down, but anything can happen when they hit the field at 6:45 on Saturday night at Jordan-Hare.
329 days since Missouri's last true road game.
Yeah, this is going to be a test in itself, just being on the road. I mean, that 6-game home slate was just, I cannot believe we're finally going on the road. So it's a big test, and I think this game has a lot of stakes too, because, you look at Auburn, Hugh Freeze, that seat is definitely not freezing. It's on a hot seat right now, and this is an important game for them to win. And then for Mizzou, I think this is a game, if you want to make the college football playoff, you probably want to get this one.
Tigers will need it, but it'll be tough because in the last few seasons, the Tigers have struggled on the road. The Tigers have broken down anytime they've been away from Faurot Field. All 3 of their losses came on the road last season. If you remember Missouri's first 2 SEC matchups on the road against Texas A&M and Bama, they were outscored 75-10. What do you guys take away from Missouri's travel woes?
Well, I think this year is going to prove whether they're different from last year. When they went into College Station, they were very clearly not prepared for what was to come, even though Brady Cook said apparently practice was louder than Kyle Field, and when Mizzou was down big.
I know way too much about that.
Yeah, and when Mizzou was down big, they played that on the video board, and it was very clear they were not ready. Caden Green said earlier this week they were surprised by what they were walking into. They say they're more prepared now. They're going to have to prove it on Saturday.
And on top of that, the miscommunications, we've seen them at home over the first 6 weeks, and they were exploited on the road at Texas A&M last year, at South Carolina last year, and of course at Alabama last year. I'm interested to see if those communication issues can be solved going into this game against Auburn this week.
Yeah, I think it's tough to weigh sometimes how much just a road atmosphere is the reason why. I think Mizzou just got outplayed in a lot of ways last year against A&M and Alabama, but still, like some of these stadiums are going to be playing in are hostile environments, and you have to be prepared to face that. They've said they have with that Windowwood trip, but we'll see how much that actually plays into effect.
So how much is this on luck? Is this luck? What's the reason for Missouri's failures to compete on the road in the last couple of years?
Well, they've played pretty good teams on the road. It's not like they're getting upset constantly. You think of the 2023 season, their only 2 losses were to LSU, who was a borderline college football playoff team, and to Georgia, who was one of the best teams in the country. They were going to make the playoff if they didn't lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game. And then last year, A&M fell apart down the stretch, but they weren't bad. Alabama on the fringe of the playoff, and then South Carolina also on the fringe of the playoff. And so this is a unique test because Auburn's not nearly as good as any of those teams I just listed.
Yeah, Auburn reminds me a lot of kind of South Carolina last year. I know South Carolina was probably better last year than Auburn is this year, but just in the sense that it's not an elite SEC team, but it's an above average one. But Auburn also has 3 consecutive losses. All of them are top 10 teams. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Chase, how does Missouri fix this issue? I know you mentioned the travel game that they had in the preseason, which we'll get to in a minute, but is there a fix to these issues on the road?
I feel like it's hard to know exactly how to prepare for these environments. You can put all in the noise in practice and everything, but I think just doing your best job to simulate that kind of environment is the only thing you can really do. And a lot of these guys that are veterans and captains on this team, they've been through it before. So for the younger guys, they can kind of tell them how to get through that. So yeah, just really try to look at the history and look at forward. What does a road win mean in the SEC?
It's huge, especially with how close everybody is. I think you look at the bottom of the conference, even Auburn and Mississippi State and Kentucky, they've played the teams at the top of the conference pretty close. And so I think picking up a win, even if it's against a team that has started 0-3 in the SEC, that has one of the worst offenses, I think, in the Power Four, I think it's still big time, even if it's not against a super-duper good team.
Yeah, the road games are what separate elite SEC teams from the great ones and the good ones. If you want to be elite in this conference, you're going to have to win on the road. If you want to play for a conference championship, if you want to be a college football playoff contender, you need to go on the road and take care of business on the road, because everyone can take care of business when they're in front of their home fans and their fans are making an impact on the opposing team. But if you can go on the road and pick up a victory, it just shows a lot about your program and where you're at.
Drink loves to stand on business. Here's what he has to say about Missouri's first road game in our press conference translator.
Yeah, this isn't the first road game. We took our road game in August. So we're prepared for it. We went on the road in August. We know what to expect. So, yeah, we're not going to have that as an excuse.
Drink, relies on, the captains and the seniors to kind of be leaders for that. But like I said, we got that Lindenwood trip was big time, because I've never done anything like that in my career.
We just kind of know what to expect. We know what the expectation is from being at a hotel to, transition into the away team locker room. And I know for the transfer guys now, they know what to expect and they know what the expectation is.
So that's what they said. But let's run this through the press conference translator real quick.
I'm not going to answer any questions about the Epstein files, whether about the radiation belt, and whether or not it was possible for Lee Harvey Oswald to get 3 shots off in 7 seconds.
Do this. Let's forget who we're playing this week and just write about how funny I am.
This was brought to me by a mother of children.
There's no clarification.
Hey, guys! Hey! I'm having a press conference, okay? Thank you.
So Drinkwood says that the Tigers already played their first road game of the year. I might have missed something, Quentin, here. What's the Tigers' record on the road? Because I must have missed it.
I have no idea, because no one got to watch, so it can be whatever they want it to be. We didn't get to see, so we're not entirely sure.
Does this actually count as a Tigers road game, like Drinkwitz and his players are saying? What's the validity to this?
It doesn't count as a road game. Come on, let's be real. What it did do is give the guys an opportunity to simulate what going on the road is like. Completely different setting, completely different environment. Going on a bus ride to Lindenwood is not the same as going to Jordan-Hare Stadium at night on a Saturday night in an SEC game. Nobody got the chance to see the scrimmage, so nobody actually knows if they even played for a winner. But all we do know is they tried to simulate what going on the road was like because of the struggles they had last year when they got a huge wake-up call going to Texas A&M and just getting rocked there.
I mean, yeah, this is definitely more preparation than what they did against A&M. I mean, I think it's a good idea in itself, but yeah, I wouldn't go as far to say this is the first road game. I mean, it was just a scrimmage, so Auburn's going to be a lot different than Lindenwood.
Well, it seemed the Tigers were united in this being their first road game. So let's put this up just for perspective here. Out in St. Charles at Hunter Stadium with a stadium capacity of just around 6,000, and compare that to Jordan-Hare in Auburn at 88,000. Guys, do these even compare?
Yeah, with all due respect to the number 215 team in Bill Connolly's S&P Plus, St. Charles, Missouri in August and Auburn, Alabama in October are two very different scenarios.
Going through our vehicles of transit here, 104 miles from Columbia, Missouri on the good old bus, and then 732 miles in the Missouri private jet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different game. And also, on top of that attendance you're seeing, or that stadium capacity means nothing because nobody was there. It was a close scrimmage. There was no fans. There was no atmosphere.
The noise is louder at practice, Sweet. The noise is, don't you understand that the noise is louder at practice?
Brady Cook isn't here this year, so that doesn't apply anymore. But yeah, I don't think Auburn's going to be blasting that clip the way Texas A&M was.
They're still digging it up. It still comes up. I see it.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Nothing quite like that this year. I mean, Drinkwitz might give himself a little trouble, but definitely not that.
Well, here's a look at our upcoming schedule. A lot of road games. Here's Auburn. Here's what's left. You saw Auburn at the top of the list, and the Tigers get to face a familiar face in Jackson Arnold, who transferred from Oklahoma. Here's what the Tigers defense and Damon Wilson had to say on the quarterback.
That'll lead the back.
Going into this game, what stands out to you about what Jackson Arnold and this Auburn offense does well?
Do you guys see that face? Did you guys see that look? Did you look at Quentin?
No. He went.
Yeah, that's exactly. What does that face mean? What is Jackson Arnold in for?
Jackson Arnold might be in for a rough day. Jackson, no. So seriously though, I think this Mizzou front seven could eat Auburn's offensive line alive.
Oklahoma had 9 sacks against this team, and we saw Jackson Arnold against Missouri last year looked very flustered. Got sacked 3 times in that game. And oh wait, you got Damon Wilson there making that face, getting ready to come in. 5.5 sacks in his first 5 games. I think he's gonna have a field day on Saturday.
Yeah, Arnold actually has the highest pressure to sack rate in the country. And so you're gonna face the Mizzou front seven that has put so much pressure on other teams this season. I think the Mizzou defense is gonna have a great time with this line.
It's the biggest advantage in the game for sure.
Yeah, for
Missouri's
sure.
defensive front is the biggest advantage in this game.
It's absolutely key. And Arnold has struggled throughout the year. He's 15th in the SEC in passing yards, 983. This is just not a quarterback. Like, you played Simpson, you played Sellers. This is quite not to that level at all. So we'll see how that goes.
And he's on the opposite end of the Zion Young scoop and score that won the game for the Tigers against Oklahoma. Are there any similarities that Arnold has kept from what the Tigers saw in his time at Oklahoma to now at Auburn?
Yeah, he hasn't played very well. That's probably the biggest one. What's interesting is that it looked like when he transferred from Oklahoma to Auburn that there would be greener pastures on the plains. He wasn't going to get sacked as much because his offensive line receivers weren't going to be terribly injured, and he was going to be able to create explosives with his arm. Neither of those things have happened yet. His ADOT is, I think, lower than Bo Perbula's, which is really saying something because Bo Perbula already has a pretty low ADOT, and he's gotten sacked a lot across 2 games against A&M and Oklahoma. I believe he got sacked 14 times, and I believe he's the most sacked quarterback in college football.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold's biggest strength is his legs. We've seen it. I mean, everyone has talked him up to have this great arm, and both years, and I know last year it was under circumstances with no receivers, with them all hurt, but his legs, everyone thought in that Baylor game in the opener, Auburn versus Baylor, he ran for over 100 yards. He looked great with his legs. He's gone away from that over the last couple weeks. I'm interested to see if they try and get his legs more involved. They tried to have a more balanced attack against Georgia, and it seemingly was working in the first half when they scored on their first 2 possessions, and frankly should have been up 17-0 in that game with his legs. But I'm interested to see what those legs are able to do against Missouri and if they continue to, because that's his biggest strength is his legs and getting out of the pocket.
His legs are one of his biggest strengths, but Auburn will be without a pair of legs. Their running back left the team. Well, more on that, but first, here's what Drinkwitz had to say on the situation.
Yeah, I got problems of my own. I'm not worried about anything going on with their team. I'm worried about the issues I got, which are, third downs and vertical throws and all the other stuff y'all pointed out to me today that I had no idea I got to go back and worry about, so.
Well, you guys are obviously causing a lot of stress on Drinkwitz in the press conference. We're making him worry about third downs and turnovers and all the aspects of the game of football. But Quentin, can you take us through this situation with Auburn's running back walking away from the team?
Yeah, so Damari Alston, one of 4 Auburn team captains, was dismissed from the team per an announcement from Hugh Freeze earlier this week. Alston had been injured. He hadn't been, the lead guy all season because he was literally on the sidelines. But definitely something to monitor because after Alston at least it was announced that he was gone, a lot of Auburn teammates, were posting about him on social media and coming to his defense. I don't know what exactly happened. Freeze said he didn't meet program expectations and standards, which could mean a million different things. So I'm not entirely sure what the situation was.
It's really hard to know what actually happened and what went down. All we do know is Alston was coming into this year as a starting running back. And after the first game, he suffered an injury. Jeremiah Cobb looked really good in his absence. Jeremiah Cobb has since worked his way to the workhorse there. And then Alston left the team this week, or was dismissed, whatever Hugh Freeze said. But we don't actually know the situation. But it is a little suspicious that all his teammates are posting on LinkedIn for him, talking about how good of a leader he was. He was a captain. So it's an interesting situation, whether Drinkwitz is concerned about it or not. I don't think he really needs to be, but it's definitely something that the media can look at and say, well, this is strange.
Yeah, I think the concern more for Drinkwitz is probably the run defense from Auburn. I think, Auburn last week against Georgia only let up, 79 rushing yards. And so, yes, you do have Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts. That's an attack that ranks among the best in the country. But it is going to be a tough challenge, and you have to establish that run game earlier than they did last time.
So yeah, top 15 defense against the run for Auburn, matching up against this Missouri rushing attack. Immovable force, unstoppable object. Where do we come here?
Yeah, I think we're going to see more success from Mizzou this week than it did last week. I think they're going to try to establish the run game earlier and get Hardy more involved. Roberts, he needs to get more than 5 carries. That's a fact. So they're definitely going to try that. I think Auburn is one of the best run defenses they'll play all year, but this rushing attack from Mizzou is among the best.
Is the key to this game the run game between Auburn's run defense and Missouri's rushing attack?
I'll just say quickly, I think there's a lot of keys, but I think the time of possession battle this week is not going to be 38 minutes to 21 minutes in Auburn's favor, which should drastically change the way that Kirby Moore is able to call the game. So I agree. I definitely expect more from Hardy and Roberts this week, and I'll pass it to you.
And also, if Mizzou is able to shut down Cobb and that Auburn rushing attack, which Hugh Freeze really hasn't gone to that much, a lot of people in Auburn really want them to run the ball more, and that just hasn't happened since the opening game against Baylor, which was weird because they were so successful.
They were great.
But
300 yards rushing.
If Mizzou does shut down the run, they make Jackson Arnold throw the ball. Great. Yeah, awesome. I think if they can get Jackson Arnold over 25 or 30 passing attempts, I think that spells good news for Mizzou.
Well, Arnold and the Auburn Tigers have already lost all of their lies. Tyson Ellison told us last week that the Tigers still have 2. Our Cotton Bowl winning former Missouri Tiger takes us through the X's and O's of Missouri-Auburn.
On Monday's episode of Sideline Study Hall, I showed you this graphic and said that Mizzou has 2 lives left before they're eliminated from the playoffs. If that's the case, this Auburn team is either out or barely scraping by. They've already lost 3 straight games and a running back. Losing a 4th game at home could mean the end of the year for the Auburn Tigers. Let's not talk about the bad. Here's what they do well. Jackson Arnold here, the quarterback, also acts as a running back. Read option play here, able to score against Georgia, but they have him in the run game a lot because the passing game has been a struggle this season for Auburn. Here's an example of why. You see players creeping up to the line of scrimmage, but when it's all said and done, after the stunt, you'll be able to count with me 1, 2, 3, 4 players at the line of scrimmage for the defense. That means Jackson Arnold's clock has to go off eventually. He's got to escape the pressure and either scramble or throw. Instead, he's thrown to the ground. On this play here, you see in the box, there are 7 defensive players. Now, instead of holding on to the football, he's going to panic here when he sees the pressure. Only 5 end up rushing, but that's enough to freak out Jackson Arnold here on this play, and he's going to let go of that ball fast and into the hands of an Oklahoma defender. Should have been a pick. Here's another play. Quarterback, linebacker, up there, bats the ball down at the line of scrimmage. Just because he doesn't have interceptions on the season doesn't mean there haven't been turnover-worthy plays. Do not get that confused. They've been there. Now grab your stopwatch. Let's count this play out, all right? Watch this defensive end. 1, 2, 3, 4, sacked. When we were talking about Ty Simpson from Alabama, we said 4 seconds in the pocket, you can't allow it because he will dice up the defense. 4 seconds in the pocket for Jackson Arnold means a sack. When he lets go of the ball in time, though, there are great plays made by this Auburn team. The wide receiver core is very talented. Cam Coleman's going to come down with those one-on-one balls. You see down on the sideline, Texas A&M versus an Auburn receiver. That's the blanket who terrorized Mizzou last season. One-on-one coverage, catch. Very, very contested catch. A lot has been said about this run defense as well for Auburn. That doesn't mean there's not holes. Watch this pile here. Starts on the line of scrimmage and is going to move 10 yards all the way to the line of scrimmage. So a lot of opportunities for contact balance. Who can you think of that's really good at contact balance? I'll let you think on that one while we look at another play here. Double team here on the defensive lineman. Center and guard are going to work together there. And then 1, 2, 3. You saw the secondary. All of those players still can't bring down the running back at that second level. Instead, he will break free, break loose, all the way to the goal line, touchdown here on that drive. When you are so good in the run game and teams have to respect it, it opens up those passing plays. So you'll see here at the bottom of the screen, it's going to be zone coverage here. The throw will happen right in between the two defenders. That's how you get those first downs. And when you get a first down in the pass game, you go back to the running game. I'd be surprised if we see Mizzou and they don't run a play similar to this. Here it is again. Center and guard versus defensive tackle and linebacker. The running back is going to be able to break free from that first level untouched and explode for a very explosive play. That's how you develop the rhythm. We heard in the press conference, Coach Drinkwitz wants to establish a rhythm. You're going to do that on the ground offensively. Auburn's been all out of rhythm all week because of the controversy about Damari Alston leaving the football team. We don't know if he was dismissed or if he decided to leave, but you see players speaking out about how Auburn treated the incident. You see the news organizations all breaking the news about Damari Alston. It is hard enough to coach a game in the SEC. It's even harder when there's outside noise and distractions. Auburn is going to have to navigate all of that and find a way to break a 3-game losing streak against Mizzou. We'll see if they can do that this week. Jacob, back to you.
Thanks so much, Tyson. We know Auburn has lost all their lives. Last week, Sweet and I, we both lost our one life and take it to the grave, and we had to pay the price. But great news, Tyson Ellison in his one take it to the grave got it wrong, so he got punished too. Yep. But Sweet and I also had to pay the price. Roll it.
I'm ready. You have to give us like a 3, 2, 1.
I think we should practice one.
Okay, give us 3.
Okay. No, slower.
I had to see it. All right, we ready? Let's do this. We did it. Wait, no, that was practice. Did you not record that?
No, that was not recordable.
Oh my God.
That was
great.
That was one. Step, hand, flip, bum, 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 bum. Other way, yep. Bounce down. Okay, now dance. Okay. I think we could do better, but you guys can tell me.
Because you, my friend, have to run 138 laps around the column, 1 lap for each year of Missouri football.
We'll lap you on, bud.
6 or 7. For here.
We tweeted off his Twitter trolls. I love it.
One more time around. Big 5-0.
I feel like
So Tyler and I are leaving. This is taking way longer than we thought.
Energy, details, grit, emotional consistency. Oh, finish the line. Yeah. After 138 of them, it used to be a lot. I'm gonna bring a ruler out here.
So I think Tyson got the worst punishment in the immediate, but in the long term, reading through some of these comments on this TikTok video we had to make, I'm a little concerned, Sweet.
I think they're fun. It's all funny games. I think we did a great job, Jacob. I think we are beautiful dancers.
You know,
I think we have a career in dancing after our analyst career ends. So, you know.
Dancing with the Stars, I think, is in our future. Let's get to our take it to the graves, as we have historically been pretty bad at this. But you know what? Tigers are going on the road for the first time, so maybe we can turn things around too. Quentin?
Yeah, we've been bouncing back. I'd say some of us have been on a more upward trajectory than others. So it's just about going 1-0 every week, forgetting about the past and only focusing on the future. Learn the lesson, leave the event. That's what Coach Drinkwitz always says. Again, we talked about earlier how this Mizzou front seven and this Auburn offensive line, there's a huge mismatch there. put me down for at least 5 tackles for loss for Mizzou on Saturday against Auburn.
How many does Damon Wilson get?
Does this count too?
No,
No.
I just out of curiosity.
I'll go with at least 2. I mean, not many people have stopped him. I don't expect Auburn to.
He's awesome. Well, we've talked about it a bit, but I think Missouri's running game is going to be more of an emphasis this week. I'm going to go Ahmad Hardy to score a touchdown. I saw the lineup -120 this morning. I think Ahmad Hardy is definitely going to get in that end zone this weekend.
And I'm seeing the chemistry between Bo and Brett Norfleet grow over the last few weeks. I'm going to say Norfleet gets a touchdown here in this game.
I think for me to take it to the grave, I have Bo breaking his streak of 4 straight games of the pick. I say Bo gets clean without an interception. Let's go to the upcoming SEC matchups. All right, it's been crazy in the landscape of college football. We saw the matchups, potential matchups for new coaches after James Franklin got fired from Penn State. Eli Drinkwitz's name has been thrown around in the conversation. How real is this?
I truly have no idea. I mean, every coach will say they are happy where they are and they are excited to continue where they are. A lot of times dollar signs pull people away. In better situations, pull people away. I think Drink is totally fine here.
It's hard to say that Drinkwitz isn't happy with his job here. I mean, look at the state Missouri's in compared to when he got here. Missouri is in an ideal spot, recruiting, wins. I mean, basically anywhere you look, Drinkwitz seems to have stabilized this program. They're on an upward trajectory. I would be very surprised if Drinkwitz leaves. But like Quentin said, money can drag people away. But I think Missouri is a really good coaching job. In general right now, I think it's hard to argue against Missouri being a top 15 coaching job in the country right now. And Drinkwitz is the 10th highest paid coach in college football here. So
let me play you through this crazy scenario, right? We see, obviously, the opening happened at Penn State. Nebraska coach Matt Rule went to Penn State, goes there, and the Nebraska spot opens up. There's an open spot in Nebraska. They come calling. What do you think about that?
I don't think so. Like, I think Drinkwitz is in a good position right now. He has so many resources at Mizzou, and he's got the stadium project going on that's going to be finished soon. I just think it doesn't really make sense right now for Drinkwitz to leave. There's a job that could open up one year that he does take, but I'm just not seeing it right now.
I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised.
We heard your thoughts. Let's go to the man himself.
There's no such thing as journalistic integrity on social media. There's just wild, outlandish reporting. And anybody's name, I'll bet every sitting head coach has been listed as a candidate for some job. As far as my name associated with everything, that's awesome for the University of Missouri. It means we're doing something really good. It means that our administration is committed to excellence. It means all the investment that the people here have been made has resulted in our success. And, yeah, that's what I'd say. It's a tip of the hat to the University of Missouri.
You can't predict Drink. You can't predict how the game is going to go, but we're going to ask you to. Quentin, what's your prediction for Mizzou at Auburn?
I think it's going to be ugly, disgusting, horrendous offensive football for the most part, but I think Mizzou makes a few more big-time plays than Auburn on offense. Give me the Tigers from Columbia, 21-11.
Yeah, Auburn's lost 3 in a row. Jackson Arnold's pretty questionable. Missouri's defensive front is awesome. I think Missouri makes an emphasis to get the run game involved. It's going to be weird. It might be very low scoring. I think it is actually going to be pretty low scoring. I'm going to go Mizzou 24-20.
Yeah, I'm right in line with you guys. I don't think this game's going to be pretty, but I do think Mizzou's going to win their first road game. I have them winning 24-14 in this one.
You sure it's their first? I thought it was their second road game.
Oh,
sorry, I must have missed something.
I don't know about that.
I have Tigers going on the road. They have not had a lot of success on the road. You got Auburn, which is a top 15 run defense, clashing up against the Missouri offense that only gave the ball to Ahmad Hardy 12 times last game. I have the Tigers rolling through. I think their offense responds in a big way. I think they come out. I think you see 35 points for the Tigers, and the defense holds Auburn to 21. Well, we thank you for watching this episode of the Tiger Kickoff Show. I got some shocked faces over here.
They're both Tigers.
They are both Tigers. Yeah, this is truly the Tiger Kickoff Show today, and we appreciate you to watching. You can follow our continued coverage on every social media platform we're at, and we want to thank again our wonderful beat writers, and Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase James. I'm Jacob Siciliano. Thank you for watching the Tiger Kickoff Show.